Welcome to the Amethyst Hobbies YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Khador Metal Battlebox developed by Privateer Press. This is my first kit in the Privateer Press world of the Iron Kingdoms, and more to the point, the War Machine world. This was a gift from Santa this year, and I was pretty pleased with it. The kit comes with one Warcaster, Prime Scorcha, now referred to as P Scorcha, one Destroyer, the arranged heavy warjack, and one Juggernaut, which is your close combat warjack. I found these models needed a little bit more patience assembling compared to other companies' metal products. I found some of the joints, were a little tricky to get a decent bond with. And on top of that, there was not much variety in poses that you could do. It's a very basic kit, but in saying that, the simplicity in it is its strong point. Basically, the warjacks come in 3 or 4 pieces. You've got your left and right arm, your upper torso, your legs, the head, and the shoulder mount, and of course the boiler, but that's a story for a little bit later. So the way I went about it was I put the top shoulder plates on first, then attached the legs, and I wanted a little bit more of a dynamic pose with these models. So what I did is I bent the arms of the models into a little bit more of an open and dynamic pose, giving the models a sense of movement and less stagnant poses. And I felt this really played to the benefit of the minis, considering that you can't really do a whole lot with posing. And if you're somebody who really enjoys that sort of thing, but you don't enjoy doing heavy conversions, it could be a pitfall with the Metal Battlegroup. But I found that the compromise that I was able to create with the kit, was fantastic, and the models look, just that much better. Now, being my first Khador kit, or Privateer kit for that matter, I didn't know where certain pieces went. Primarily the boilers. At the time, the kit was actually from a trade, so it didn't have the box with the directions. So I kind of had to figure out where everything went. And in doing so, I didn't realize, after the minis were assembled and poses were figured out, that there was a piece left over for both the Juggernaut and the Destroyer, and I could not for the life of me figure out where this piece went. And through examining the models, I realized there's a spot on the back where these would go, and evidently these were the boilers, which in a steam-powered atmosphere, that's very important. Downside was, because of these dynamic poses that I've created, the boilers didn't fit. Well, crap. That was my first reaction, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to have to disassemble the entire model in order to attach these boilers, which are a very important part because it fills out the model, but it also makes the jacks function in the game world. So what I did was I took some paper towel around the teeth of the pliers, and I gently took the boilers off, since they were now attached, and then I bent the arm still attached slightly to open up enough room to get the boilers in, and thankfully the metal was strong enough to hold the twisting, and the bond was strong enough. I know some other companies, this sort of treatment would break the metal. So I got the boilers on, and I realized, wait a second, there's still enough room for me to bend the arms right back into place. So I was able to get the same dynamic pose and get the boilers on. So in retrospect, I should have put these boilers on in the first place, but I didn't even realize they were there. So that becomes a fault of my own. Getting to the Warcaster assembly, very basic, attach the slot base to the base. Now the downside with the Scorcha model is her axe haft comes in 2 pieces, and the second piece is very small and easy to lose, which I have consequently gone to lose for not only my first Metal Battle Box kit, but also my second Battle Box kit. So it is a little bit of an annoyance. Personally, I don't mind the look of it. It reminds me a little bit more of a scythe than a warhammer. But for those who are sticklers for accuracy, a little bit of a brass rod or other plastic piece that is about the right diameter, easy fix if you do happen to lose the piece. Now, painting the models was a little bit of a challenge in the sense that because it was a um, new models, new poses, new proportions. So, coming from predominantly Games Workshop related minis on scale, it was a little bit disjarring, but not hard to accommodate. The trickiest part would have been the warjacks for me because the plates were and are new, and highlight layers are completely different compared to what you would find in other companies. P Scorcha, I found the scale to be actually a little bit smaller than what is standard for 28 millimeter range. So areas such as skin and eyes were a little bit more finicky, but with a little patience, very easy to paint. Your standard human figure. The Battle Box has going for it is the fact that it is all metal. I find that the metal gives the sense of the Privateer Press world that much more character. The warjacks being solid metal, they're weighty. Um, it just adds to the character and the dominance of these warjacks, which in game world are they're supposed to be these beasts, and being all metal, it just kind of adds to that flavor, that flair that Privateer Press has created. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than sitting there and playing a game with these literal behemoths of models compared to the lightweight plastics out there. Now, Privateer Press has been releasing plastic models, and I am going to be doing a review of one of those, or two of those, who knows how many of those in the future, and especially to do a comparison. But bringing it back to the metal kit, I definitely would recommend getting the metal kit. I mean, first timers, second timers with the Privateer Press world, or even just the hobby enthusiasts, because the character in the kit alone is enough to make this a worthwhile purchase. And it is a fairly simple assembly. Just make sure you know what you're doing and take the time to make sure all the pieces fit before gluing it, unlike what I did. So all in all, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 star rating, and I can't wait to get more added to my Khador force. And with that being said, I can't speak.